April Fool's, Joe.
April Fools.
Yep.
Oh,
Good morning, everyone.
is that?
Welcome to the Double Cup
Oh.
of Joe show. I'm your host, Joe, and I'm going to be messing with other Joe all day long.
You have been already.
The double feedback.
You
We're gonna miss
didn't
it.
even know it. You were
Everyone's
asleep and
day.
you were messing with me.
Here we go. It's happening. The craziest day of the year for most of us. Half of us. 33 and a third percent of us. Counting stuff. Don't worry about it. Hey guys, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, so
Which
don't worry because it's Wednesday.
thankfully Joe told me. Uh, I was definitely sleeping. If you haven't been enjoying the wonderness of quarantine, some crazy things are going on at work. So I apologize. But we're here now. We are going to fool around for April. We're happy it's April, no longer March. So we're glad you joined us. Feel free to continue to join us every day this week as we talk about some wonderful things. I won't tell you our secret topics of tomorrow. I should have
Super secret.
just written April Fools as the topic. But we as much as it's fun to goof around and stuff, it's still the Double Cup of Joe show. We want your morning to start out right. If you haven't been here before, let us introduce ourselves. I am your host, Joe.
And I'm also your host, Joe.
Boom. Double cup.
Oh. Well, it's funny because we have two hosts, but one person kind of hosts more than the other one on any given day.
Double
So, like,
host.
yeah. Double chocolate, double rainbow.
Reminds me of a thing, I think.
It does, man. Name that movie. It wasn't really a movie.
Or was it?
Oh, maybe it was. 'Twas perhaps.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So we're glad you're here. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you again, Raka. It's good to see you, Jeff. Raka, I'm really looking forward to hearing about the 12 hours of jumping jacks that you promised us not on April Fool's Day. So you can't claim April Fool's. It was in March. Wasn't even in April.
Yes.
Expect a full report of the 12
and
hours.
March was an interesting year. I will agree.
An interesting year indeed.
It went by so quickly. It felt like it went by so fast. That whole year of March.
The whole year of March. Yeah, just so fast. So fast. It was like 30 days, 31 days.
It sure felt like that,
year.
didn't it?
It was crazy. The Earth went around the sun so fast. And I knew NASA had those giant rocket boosters strapped to the Earth for a reason.
That's right.
All right.
Gonna send us around the sun faster.
Yes, faster. Gotta slow down that global warming or speed up that. I don't know. However, which direction you want to speed things. Maybe you want it to get warm fast now because it's winter. Who knows?
I do. That'd be nice to be warm again.
Yep.
It just feels cold today.
Yes, it does.
But it's Wednesday, so we're not going to worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. Wednesday. Coming to you live at 9 o'clock.
That's right.
Estimated time. Or Eastern Standard for normal people.
That's right. Joe's like, I wish I was on Don't Worry Wednesday. Then I wouldn't have to be up this early.
Yeah, that would make sense, except I'm pretty sure you're in both shows, so then I have to be up early and late.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah,
I dig it.
I still don't understand how you go from Monday night to Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday night to Thursday morning. We don't have a Saturday show, so that's good news.
We don't. We should start one. It'd have to be really early because I've got a lot of stuff to do on Saturdays usually. Saturdays are like a very busy day.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd have to be like a 5:30 show. What do you think? You want to do it?
Sunday Cuppa Joe show. I will start
You're
the
like,
stream at like 11 o'clock the night before so that you can just hop on and go.
It'd be great. So yeah, well, hey, so what are we doing today? It's Wednesday. It's the first day of April. So it's April Fool's Day.
Mm-hmm. Which means, of course, we got our 3-step routine we have to do
Oh yeah.
today that definitely starts with what are you looking forward to? That's just the first step of our 3-step routine. Yep. Then, what are you eating today? Yep.
Ah.
That's step 2. And then, what is the largest land mammal you can currently think of? So that's the 3-step routine. What are you looking forward to? What are you eating today? And what is the largest mammal that you can currently think of? So, Joe, I'm going to kick those out to you right now.
That's a good question. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to today. Actually, I'm excited for today because I am, we've been working on all this Kickstarter stuff and it's getting moving along, and I actually get to record music today.
Dang.
So today,
Music.
I know, right? So like I'm looking over at my drums and I'm like, I'm gonna bang the dust off them today. Because like I could dust them, but it'd be way more fun to just bang the dust off them instead of like use a dust cloth and stuff. That'll be fun.
Oh,
That's what I'm looking forward to today.
nice. Nice.
What are you looking forward to today?
Well, I'm looking forward to April Fool's because that's not a 3-step routine. But but that other answer was a great answer. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you didn't know, there's these cool things. They're sonic dusters. They use sound to clean things.
Oh, really?
That's what basically Joe's gonna do.
Yeah. Sonic dusting.
Yep, sonic dusting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because when you go so long, it's like it feels like it's been forever since I recorded something. I just can't stop looking over at my drums in anticipation.
Anticipation.
Yes. Great. So I'm thankful for that too. That's another thing I'm thankful for. Another thing, I'm thankful for spine width calculators. And I'm thankful for
What's a spine with calculator?
that's the calculator that they give you on the website of the printer to calculate the spine of your book based on how many pages and the weight of the pages.
Spine width, not width.
Oh, a spine with a calculator?
Yeah, spine with a calculator is like a backbone. You get it to calculate. Like what's...
Yeah, it's gonna tell you how big it is.
Whoops. Whoop. Well, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm definitely thankful that you know what you're talking about, and in that regard, then.
If you'd have asked me a month ago, I wouldn't have known what that was.
Joe's learning. Joe is a learning machine. Okay, so we've had it a little bit backwards, but 3-step routine is actually what are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And then what's one thing you're going to do today to move yourself forward? Joe started with what are you looking forward to? And then basically had the same thing to be thankful for. Brilliant.
It's all the same actually for me today. All 3 of the 3-step process. They're all the same. I'm thankful for playing music. I'm looking forward to playing music, and today I'm going to play some music. And I'm going to
Oh,
record it. All
well,
three.
yeah. You see, this Joe thought he was gonna be funny, and then other Joe took that and just like, bah, gotcha. I
Yeah.
answered all of your questions without you even knowing it.
Yep. I get my head banging in already. You know, I start. This is going to be fun. Ryan and I had some great conversations a couple days ago. It was one conversation that could have spanned into multiple because it took a long time. And as a result of that conversation, I get to play some music today.
Hmm.
I like conversations like that, where I like get to talk to Ryan, and then because of that, it's like, I get to play again.
Nice.
It's gonna take some setup though. I
Hmm.
gotta reset up microphones. There's stuff that's gotta be done, but that's okay. It's gonna be fun.
Reset up the microphones.
Yeah, baby.
So that's the 3-step routine. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what's one thing today that you're going to do to move yourself forward or move yourself towards your goals? So do that every morning, even on April Fool's Day. If if it's still April Fool's Day for you, maybe you're so far east.
Is anybody that far ahead of us?
I don't know. If for some reason some of you are like in some place, let us know. Let us know if today
Yeah,
no
let us
longer
know.
April Fool's Day for you here.
Is it already April 2nd for somebody?
I don't know. I need to work on my geography. Maybe it's not. I feel like it would have to be though.
When it's this early, is it? I don't know.
Dun,
It's so early, it's not even tomorrow yet for somebody. When we do Don't Worry Wednesday, it'll be tomorrow for somebody.
It'll be tomorrow for a lot of people when Don't Worry Wednesday.
Because we always get that in the chat. It's like, well, it's actually Thursday for me. It's like, yeah, well, you know. Okay.
Come back
Egg
with us.
has arrived. Welcome, Egg. You made it back.
Arrived.
Yes. Yes, we got Raka, we got Egg, we got Jeffrey. Yes. And Raka looks like Raka's doing the same thing as me. It's gonna do some rocking and play some music. It's gonna be a good thing.
No, rocking.
I can't wait. So excited. April Fool, you're not an egg.
Dang it!
Ah,
These tricks and pranks are getting so elaborate.
and I totally thought you were an egg. I'm just sad.
Everything I know is a lie.
This is my sad face.
Oof.
It's also my happy face. Also my content face. Double April Fools. I am an egg. I knew it. You are tricking us.
I knew it.
You tricked us, and then you tricked us again. Oh, you're such a tricky person. Egg. I mean, not a person.
Egg knows how April Fool's works. Brilliant.
We could go on this. This is going to go for. I can see this just happening.
Yeah,
Triple April Fools. I'm not an egg. Quadruple April Fools. I am an egg. Just keep going back and forth. Ah, you fooled me every time.
Oh no. Oh no.
Ooh. A dip in the jacuzzi.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yes. Me as well. It is still early spring / winter.
Yes. That's way better than a dip in Fun Dip.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just sugar.
Is it? I don't know what Fun Dip is. I thought it was like chip dip of some kind.
Fun Dip, I think if I remember correctly, because my kids love it, it's a stick.
Okay.
So like there's this cup of it's Fun Dip, and it comes in a cup, right? And it's got this
Okay.
little stick. And then
Okay.
you dip the stick in the cup, and it comes out with a bunch of colored sugar, and you eat it off of the stick, and then you dip it back in there, and you basically just they're spooning sugar into your mouth with a stick. And it's called Fun Dip.
That sounds interesting.
And then they go crazy for like 20 minutes, and then there's weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Oh, oh boy.
Yep, it's a chalky stick that you're meant to dip in a cup filled with sugar, but most people just chug the sugar. That's exactly right. Yep. And then it's like, woo! Ah! And it's like, ah! He did that to me. I know he did. He's your brother. He's supposed to do things like that to you.
He's
That's
supposed
that's what
to.
brothers do, you know.
Ah, yes. I have many fond memories as the eldest brother
Oh, you were the oldest.
of causing
Ah.
all of the malfeasance.
You were that guy. Yeah, I was the youngest brother
Oh no.
of youngest of two.
Oh, okay. Not as bad. No, I was the oldest of four, so I had
Oh,
three little minions to
ew, you were the tormentor.
tormentor.
The tormentor. So speaking of weeping and gnashing of teeth, what are we talking? We're talking about spiritual stuff today.
Yeah, we are. We are definitely talking about spiritual stuff today. So, great segue that we definitely planned. So
Ta-da!
yeah, today we've been going through this topic of self-care, keeping track of your life and all the different aspects of it, so that you can be healthy and in any way possible. So we started Monday with your mind care, keeping track of this brain that you have. That's amazing, and
Mhm.
just consuming the proper media and the things that make your brain healthy. Yesterday we talked about your body and the things you do to consume and actively use it to be healthy. So, in case you're not noticing a trend here, we're going to talk about spiritual care and your spirit or soul or however you want to refer to it. Um, and what you need to consume and use it for to remain healthy.
Mhm.
Mind blown.
Whoa!
So,
Be healthy.
mhm. So be healthy. It's good for you. Good for the people around you.
Hmm.
Uh, you'll often hear these talks of, well, if it only affects me, like, why does anyone care? I can almost guarantee you there's nothing you will do to yourself that does not affect another person. Period.
Guaranteed.
So,
You affect the world around you,
mhm.
whether you decide to or not. So yeah, that's right. Because I used to live by that mantra. Well, I'm not hurting anybody else. Au contraire. You are affecting others
Yeah.
just by living.
Well, it sounds to me like Joe really gets this topic. So we're going to have him kick off the conversation. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about spirit care
I'm
and
kicking it off.
what you do. Well, yeah, we have to do football for everyone else who can't watch any football.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Amateur.
right. It's March Madness. We can't. Oh wait, that's not
And
football though.
it's not March anymore, Joe.
April Fools. It's not even March.
Ah, you got us, Joe.
Man, you
Ah.
thought it was March. Wrong. That.
Thank you. Oh, now Detective Egg is calling for mercy.
Ugh, I think that's thank you.
Oh,
That's French for thank you. Merci. Merci beaucoup.
oh.
Oh, so I'm kicking it up. Oh, that was your intro. I thought there was going to be more. Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry, let me come up with some more things. Let me look at the script. The
So,
script.
we're gonna just stop it right there. Joe did the kick. Yes. Okay. So let's see. So spiritual care. This is one of the most important, I think, at least for me,
Mhm.
because I find that when I start, a lot of this happens at the beginning of my day, but also throughout the day as well, and that is just kind of uh, trying to go through my day in a prayerful mode. It I mean, personally, I'm a Christian, and so my focus is on prayer to God and, studying the Bible. So there's a few different aspects of that. And that is um just start my day with prayer. Just start my day being thankful for what I have, thankful to my creator for what the gifts that I've been given, and also looking forward to things. It's a lot like a three-step routine, but you can do it in a prayerful way. If you're not a Christian or God-fearing person, that's okay too. There is stuff you can do spiritually that can help. And a lot of people have found great benefits in meditation, which is, I mean, when we pray, one of the deepest forms of prayer is meditative prayer, and so that they kind of go hand in hand. So if you can take some time and meditate, if you can take some time in prayer, I mean, these are things that feed your soul. There's also literature. I mean, like I've alluded to before, is for me, it's the Bible. I know for other people of other religions, they also have religious texts that that you can study, and really all of that. Um, there's truth in all of it. There is. Now, personally, I wouldn't be a very good Christian if I didn't think that my faith contained the whole truth. Otherwise, if I didn't think that, I'd be some other religion for sure. But but I do also there. I don't think that, hey, mine's got the truth and everybody else is totally wrong, because that's not true at all. There are parallels in all religions. Like, we all experience these parallels of truth. Like, there are truths in all of it, and so I can celebrate the fact that I share truth with my Buddhist friends, that I share truth with my Muslim friends, that I share truth with my Jewish friends and with my Hindu friends. And, people of all different religions, there are absolute truths that are reflected in all of them. So, what you can do is you can take the time, no matter what walk of life you come from, you can meditate, you can study, and what that does is it feeds your soul, and it helps you live on a higher plane of existence, because all of our day-to-day stuff, all the stress of our day-to-day physical living, it can really bog us down, and we can totally get caught up into it. But when we are reminded that the world and the universe is bigger than us and our problems, we can rise above it. We can look down and we can be like, okay, I'm going through these problems right now. I'm going through these issues and these challenges. But you know what? The world's going to keep spinning. Everything's going to keep going. And tomorrow, this probably isn't going to matter. A year from now, this probably isn't going to matter. I can focus on a higher power, and that can help me get past whatever's going on right now. So that's what I have to start off. Joe, I'm turning it back to you. I'm going to kick it back
Oh,
to
Stevie,
you, Joe,
kick.
because I'm interested
Uh,
to hear what you got to say.
well, thanks, Joe. Good stuff. Good stuff. I think um, there's a lot here of, we're only going to be able to tell you a certain perspective because that's our perspective of in this instance both a Christian faith. Like, we won't be able to give you perspective of spiritual care for whatever kind of mentality you take on it. We
Mhm.
won't know. There's enough of you, and that's okay. But because again, Joe said there's um, a lot of truth that you can take from what we're gonna say that is broadly applicable. Some of it that will only be partially applicable. That's okay. Um, take what you need, leave what you don't, and we'll go on. You have a
Mhm.
broad assortment of friends, though, Joe. I don't even think you listed off enough religions. I don't think I have that many friends. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. But so I just, um, in terms of again talking about uh, what it is to care for your spirit, a lot of it again deals with what you consume. Um, for man does not survive on bread alone, but every dang it, I'm gonna the quote butcher the quote. Joe, finish it for me.
Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the breath of God, or something like that.
Yes, very similar. We're paraphrasing at this stage, but I'm
Paraphrasing.
pretty sure Joe was spot on. So,
Yeah,
if
depends on your
not,
translation.
yep, if that's true, that's true. But if you don't, if you don't have the same translation, you can get something completely different. But if you Google that, it'll be close enough that they'll give you it'll give you the verse.
Mm.
So, um, watching what you eat spiritually is important. In case you didn't know, as we've talked about all week. Hey, Rack has got us Matthew 4:4. So thank you. I
Thank you.
believe that is Jesus talking, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
Yeah, he was confronting the devil.
Confronting the devil.
And that verse is quoting another verse.
What?
Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Verse and quoting verses.
Uh,
Verses quoting verses.
bum bum bum. Perception.
Whoa.
But that's kind of our topic: is what are you consuming? What's going into your spirit in this instance that's going to help it to be healthy? And like Joe talked about with meditating, find a way that you can identify your your spiritual health. Find out how you can identify how healthy you are. Then the nice thing about your brain and your body are it's pretty quick to tell if you are being healthy with those things, because you can see it. Like on me, you can see, Joe's kind of gained a little bit over these past year or so. Like you can visibly see that maybe I'm not being as healthy as I could be. With your mind, if you're, struggling to come up with ideas or you're struggling in a certain area of thinking, probably because you haven't devoted, mind attention to that area. So it presents itself really quickly. So one of the first things we want you to do is to just be able to see Raka. Thanks for stopping out. I'm sorry I'm late. Well, you can watch the rest of this later, and hopefully we got some good stuff for you. Um, but one of the things we need to be able to do before we do anything else, before we like start trying to take care of ourselves, we kind of need to be able to identify what's wrong or what's going right, and to be able to figure out what we need to add to our spiritual diet to improve. Joe talks about this meditative prayer. Fantastic way to really identify what's going on in your soul, what's eating at you. You know, um, in Christianity, the Holy Spirit is convicting you of, hey, here are the things that are wrong in your soul and that you may need to work on. So having that just moments to be able to reflect and pray helps you to identify, oh, here are the things. Were you going to say something, Joe? You look like you wanted to
No,
say. Okay. So those
I was
really help you.
shifting my weight.
Shift. I have a shift key.
I'm shifting my keys.
Mm-hmm. Um, but not
Oh,
only. Go ahead. Oh,
if you hit your shift key a bunch of times, a thing pops up.
oh, sticky keys. No.
keys. Do you want to turn on sticky keys? No.
No, I don't want my
Turn
keys
on
to
the sticky
stick.
keys. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, sorry to disrupt.
No, it's good. It's all good. So, but the other thing to be able to kind of identify um, the things that are going on in your soul is to just pay attention again to what you're consuming. You know, we've talked about um, consuming mentally and even physically, but usually mentally for me is how I help to identify it. We talk about not wasting your time in quarantine consuming bad mental things for you, just binging on TV, binging on da 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 da, you name it. Well, spiritually, it's about binging on things that aren't good for your spirit. If you find yourself, listening to music that has a very negative message, if you find yourself watching shows that have maybe some explicit content or excessive violence or things of this nature that are drawing you away from what your soul was really meant for, that's a great way to identify, maybe something's going wrong there. Maybe something is, getting bad there. Before you start to get into some crazy things. Like most of the time, very small things end up leading into very big things, or consistent small things end up being very detrimental for your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to like having a brownie every single day. Probably not going to be healthy for you.
Depends on the brownie.
That's true. That's very true.
If you put a bunch of vegetables in a blender, it probably comes out brown.
Joe, you have the worst brownies I've ever heard. Oh no. No. No wonder you don't like brownies. You're thinking of something completely different than I am. Oh. You're right though, it's definitely probably a brown. Probably smells all funny because all
Probably
vegetables
does.
seem to have
Put a bunch
this
of salt
same
on it,
smell.
and you'd probably be fine.
Some salt.
Coat it in butter and salt, and you'd probably be all right.
Right? Oh my god. But that's something that you can do is to identify what's going on. That maybe you haven't hit a point where it's like you're going out and shoplifting or something, where you can kind of self-analyze your soul and figure out where you're at. Um, Again, at this stage, I want to point out here at no stage am I like judging you for your theft or whatever you're doing. Or again, in Christianity, all of sin falls short of the glory of God. But what you can do is identify things before they start to affect your the rest of your life. Generally, the negative spiritual things affect your life as much or more than your mind things and your health things. Um, so, being able to identify when those things before they begin to affect the rest of your life is going to change the trajectory of your life substantially. So, being able to identify how is my soul doing is the first step to soul care. So, I'm going to turn it back to Joe, and he is hopefully going to tell us how do we do it, how to keep care of our soul.
That's that. Thanks. I've got my brain like fixated on the vegetable brownie dipped in ranch dressing.
Oh my goodness! What is the chat? The chat.
Oh yes. So then dip that all in mashed potatoes. Dip the mashed potato covered chicken nugget biscuit in the barbecue sauce. Ah, yes. Sounds so good. The Book of Tobuscus. You guys are great.
What is Tobuscus?
Not sure. This. So one thing that I've learned from Ryan, actually, Ryan has been such a huge impact. If you don't know Ryan, I'm sure you know Ryan. He's gonna. Those of you who are watching in the stream right now, if you don't know Ryan, come back tonight for Don't Worry Wednesday. Ryan and I will be on there. You'll get to see Ryan. It'll be great. But one of the things that he taught me was how important it is to live with virtue. I mean, we think, a lot of times we think of religion, we think of all the different things, to the disciplines in religion and stuff like that. Especially, you look at Joe and I, both of us are Christians. I'm Catholic, he's non-Catholic, so there just happens to be stuff he's wrong about. And so we're gonna go. I'm sorry. There's stuff I'm wrong about too. Trust me, believe me. But one of the things that Ryan taught me was the importance of living with virtue, because what that is, that's just a recipe for happiness. It's a recipe for spiritual contentment. To live with virtue. That's why one of the things Joe was talking about that's so important is what you're consuming. Are you consuming things that are profane? Are you consuming things that play on your vices? Because we all have these temptations toward vice and toward evil. And the more we consume material that leads us down that path, the more likely we are to live with those vices, and they really become addictions, and then we become trapped by them. One of the things you can actually look up are the 7 deadly sins, or the 7 deadly vices, and then what there are that usually go along with that are the 7 conquering virtues, or the 7 cardinal virtues. And they specifically counteract those 7 deadly vices. And the more that you live, I'm not gonna list them all out for you, because I'll give you a little bit of homework. You can actually find them. But the more you live with virtue, the more you discipline yourself to be virtuous, the more free you are. We think, oh, I got to live by all these rules. These rules are so, they're so, I just want to do what I want. I remember thinking that way. It's like, it seems like it feels good to me. I want to do that. But what happens is it leads you down a path of addiction, because you think, oh, I'm going to get this little bit of pleasure. And then all of a sudden you're wrapped up into it. And it's like, I just need more. I need more. And then I need it to be a bigger dose, and a bigger dose, and a bigger dose. And before you know it, you're doing crazy stuff. And you're like, how did I even get here? Well, it started with that, just a little shift. It just a little shift off track. And then before you know it, you're way off, and you're addicted. I know there's a guy named Dr. David Anders who has described this so well, where he's like, okay, we think that a life of just doing whatever we want is going to lead us to, that's freedom. That's our ultimate freedom. But he's like, okay, imagine an artist, right? Imagine an artist who is such a great artist, they can create and paint or sculpt or whatever it is, whatever their art form is, and they're given this room full of all the tools they need to create great art, right? Now, someone who lives with virtue is like a person who can then make great use of all those tools. But someone who has that, imagine that artist in that room with all those tools, but then imagine they're a heroin addict. And so they're not thinking about their art. They're not thinking about what they can create. They're thinking about, they need their next fix. They need to feed their addiction. And that's exactly what vice does to us. The opposite of virtue. It leads us down a path toward addiction. And so then we just become consumed by the need to do those things. We're compelled to do those things. And man, Ryan, when he helped me understand this so well. I mean, the guy is so disciplined when it comes to virtue. He is so disciplined. It just astounds me. I'm trying to keep up and I'm trying to catch up to him. And it's I don't know if I ever will, because the guy just lives with virtue. He lives and breathes virtue. And it's what makes him such a great person to be guiding Black Static and Swerve through his vision and through because he can see when we're going down a path. He can be like, well, if we continue down that road, we're going to end up here, and that's not a good place to be. And so it's like, so then we can steer the ship before we even start down a path that's bad, because his mind is so attuned to that, just attuned to living with virtue. And what that leads to is happiness and freedom and contentment and joy and all of those things. And then you can be your true authentic self in its fullest form when you're free from all those vices. And so I cannot stress enough how important it is. Discover virtue. Discover what they are. Dig into what virtues are and begin to live with those virtues. And I don't know, hit up Ryan on Discord, or come in and talk on Don't Worry Wednesday, and you'll have a conversation. If you ask him about some of this stuff, he would absolutely love to talk to you about it. So anyway, back to you, Joe.
Yeah, he would. We would. But apparently, I can just end it here. Joe has determined that I'm wrong. So there's no reason for me to continue. No, we won't do that to you. But yeah, I really like what you said, Joe, and I think a lot of it. Man, we talk about the same things a lot on the show. You'll notice that there's a lot of consistency generally of what you need to do, and usually it's like the same thing every time. And eventually, you hopefully we just tell you enough that that's how it works. Developing habits, good habits, is really what's going to change your life. So, as my not Catholicness has determined from the little that I know about Catholicism, there are some really good practices that I've found that my Catholic friends partake in that I don't necessarily ascribe to the same kind of uh, maybe importance to, but also recognizing the importance of good habits and what those do. So I'm going to take the example of confession, and Joe is going to tell me how wrong I am about it, because if I say something bad, I'm not going to be able to correct myself because I'm a plebeian of Protestantism, apparently.
You're just fine, Joe. Yeah.
But this idea of coming to another person and telling them, here's what I'm doing wrong. Here's what my soul is convicting me of, what the Holy Spirit is convicting me of, and I need help. That cry, that consistent cry, is a habit that can really, really turn around a lot of things in your life. Reaching out to someone who, maybe it's Ryan, who knows the right way. If you were going to try and build, an airplane without the schematics, best of luck.
Right.
So one of the great benefits of that is it's twofold. One, acknowledging that there's something wrong. If you don't acknowledge that there's a problem, you're never going to fix it.
Right.
So if you don't, if I don't think I'm overweight, I'm gonna keep eating my brownies. I'm gonna keep eating my brownies. If I don't,
man, veggie brownie.
Veggie brownie. If I eat one of those, I will die. So you'll know. So one day Joe doesn't show up on the show. Well, he ate the veggie brownie. He just died. That was how that went.
I was starting to think that this morning. You must have ate a veggie brownie.
I must have eaten a veggie brownie. Pretty much what happened. So, I mean, this is in terms of this again. It's to it. A lot of my, this is the identification step. Or,
Identifisters.
Yep, identification step. Again, we should have split this topic into like several things, and we probably will because we're running into the end of time. But
the end of time.
The end of
we
time.
can't have it. At the end of time, we can't have any more shows.
I'm just giving us topics for the rest of the week. But it's the end of time, so maybe we won't have one tomorrow. If we don't see you, the world ends. That's how it goes. But so, this idea of confession, of being able to talk to someone about the things that you've done, is again another great step for identifying what you've done wrong. And then,
sure,
on the flip side of that, man, I just want to quote verses, and I have a terrible memory, guys. So bear with me. But what do you do to not have like this negative effect? When Joe's talking about virtue versus vice. Like, okay, so I know what my virtues are. How do I get there? How do I practice these things? How do I do things? And I think it's Philippians, but the Bible talks about whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is holy, noble, honorable. If anything is worthy of praise, think about such things.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So whatever you do throughout your day, focus on good things. It's part of the reason that this show exists. It's part of the reason Don't Worry Wednesday exists. It's part of the reason Black Static Swerve exists, is to help you focus your mind on the good things, the noble things, and the pure things, to help turn you away from negative things that demean and beat up your soul and send it in a way that was never meant to be. So think about these things, and it can be as simple as honoring your parents by cleaning your room. Like, it doesn't have to be this elaborate, like, I need to go save kittens. I just need to go out and save all the kittens. Or you don't have to be Mother Teresa. Like, Mother Teresa was a fantastic lady, and that's a great person to aspire to be. But you don't have to be that. That's not necessarily your destiny, or whatever. I don't know. We're using a lot.
Right.
But that's not necessarily what it is for you. Now, focusing on the good things that Mother Teresa did falls in the category that I just described, like recognizing in your mind, hey, caring for people, virtuous thing. And what you'll find is, by spending all of your time just focusing on these good things, is the Spirit's going to start to work in you. It's going to change you without you doing any. You don't have to, like, it's not like it's not like 12 hours of jumping jacks.
That's gonna change you too. That's gonna do some serious changes to you.
But like, when you do 12 hours of jumping jacks, like, you feel it like that. Like, it's like,
yeah, you might actually break something.
You're gonna be feeling it. But with putting your mind on the right things, when we talk about this, there's a lot of spiritual issues that don't present themselves immediately, which means that a lot of the spiritual fixes don't present themselves immediately. It's why Paul in Romans talks about discipline, because being disciplined is consistently over time. For both words of the word discipline, either training and being focused on the same thing, or as a parent, consistently treating wrongs the same way over and over is important to establish that consistency for your children. Discipline comes from day in, day out habits that are going to change your life. And so, as we talk about spiritual care, it's important that you know, hey, what do I need to be looking at and focusing on? How am I going to change this? Again, we're not experts, but um, I think this is an area that we've been called to speak to, whether or not we've qualified. We are qualified. We've been qualified. If you have somebody who's whether a priest or someone else who has, you know, obviously studied this significantly longer than we have, um, I again recommend reaching out to those people.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it can really be very simple. I love what Joe was talking about he was talking about the grand scale of what Mother Teresa had done. But even she would tell people, just start right where you're at and do something good for those around you, right in your area, because that's what she started to do. And she just continued and continued to do it, and it turned into this big huge thing that she had this huge ministry in Calcutta and then all around the world with speaking at different places. But it starts with just those little things like Joe was talking about. Just making a difference right there, right where you are with those around you. And even then, making a difference in yourself can be as simple as going out and looking around and just taking in the beauty of the world around you. Look at the sky and just there are so many times I stand in awe of our universe and what's been created for us to live in. See you later, Raka. And uh, I the same can happen when I'm sitting in my bedroom, and I'll just start to turn my thoughts to the fact that we're alive and what that means. And it's like, wow, like we are animated beings. We're creative beings, and what, like, wow, like it. You can really just be awestruck by that. And it can just start with something as simple as turning your mind to that good that we all are and that's all around us. And because there's beauty everywhere and there's good everywhere. And the more we focus on that, the more it fills our spirit with love. And I remember I was talking to a guy, he's a religious director at a church, that I don't know if I'm a member there still or not. I've been members of many different churches, but he was talking to me specifically about listening in prayer. We talk about prayer, and we think of that as like, I'm talking to God, right? But very rarely do we think I'm listening. And so to take some quiet time and just quiet your mind and just experience, just feel the world around you, feel the universe around you. And it can really move you to such a great level of peace and joy, and it can fill your spirit with just wonderful things. So I would encourage you, take some time and do that. Just take some time and try and quiet your mind and focus on what's around you, focus on the world, and focus on what's beautiful and what's good. And what you'll find is your spirits will lift as a result. You may just conquer some addictions or some bad habits. You may just live a more free existence, free from all that stuff that bogs us down, the stuff we're compelled to do that we know is wrong, but we just can't seem to get ourselves to stop. You may just find yourself becoming more and more free of all that stuff, and it's a glorious time. So I would encourage you, take those moments, take those precious moments, not the little figures, but those moments in your day, and do that. It'll be good. Don't you think, Joe?
Yeah, I do think so. So thanks, Joe. That was that was good. That was really good. We appreciate all of you coming out here today on this April Fool's morning. Sorry if we were a little bit distracted, but we like to have fun.
It's what it is.
We like to enjoy our time here. We like to enjoy our time with you, and we hope you enjoy your time here with us, and that you learn something. This is a time that you can grow, that you can get some energy for your day, a positive beginning, for not just this day, but every day that ends in Y. So, thank you all for being here. If you're still here, we appreciate you if you've gone. This is just a wonderful, wonderful time for us to be able to discuss things with you. So, we got a couple more topics coming up for the end of the week. We won't reveal anything because that would not be good. No spoilers.
But they might end up in the show titles.
Yeah,
maybe.
They might end up in the show titles. So who knows? But we want you to be back here every morning so that, again, we're going to focus on those good things. We're going to focus on what matters in life. So come back here and we're going to start your day off right with the Double Cup of Joe show. Hit the subscribe button, grab the bell, hit the bell, the taco bell, the whatever kind of bell it is.
The Taco Bell.
We don't have tacos, but you could make a taco and eat it while you watch the show. It would be an interesting breakfast, but maybe it's not breakfast for you. So
Taco Brownie.
Taco Brownie. You could do that too. You use vegetables in an interesting way, Joe.
Vegetables are great if you just fry them up in butter and cover them in salt.
Oh yeah, that's what I do every time. The only way to get them down.
Yeah, actually, even better than butter is fry them up in bacon grease.
Mm-hmm. Joe knows a lot better than I do.
I don't make everything taste better. I promise. Except for maybe a brownie. Maybe an actual brownie might not taste as good fried up in bacon grease. Or maybe it would.
Shouldn't fry that up in bacon grease.
Try it, man. You should try it. Let me know.
I would.
I'd be interested.
You would get so sick. Don't do this. April Fools. Don't do that. Oh my goodness, we have people watching this that are gonna go try that. And
you're gonna be like,
if you do try it, leave it in the comments below so that we can like the video. Do that YouTuber thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. bss.studio. Go join our webpage where you can be up to date on all of the things that are going on, whether or not they're Black Static and Swerve, Static P related. I think we have a single duel is on there, which Joe may or may not know a little bit about. So, goodness, I thought
very little.
Very little. So go there and just get yourself plugged in where we can focus on the good things. For great recipes, follow Jeff Mosher. I didn't know he had great recipes, but apparently he does. I'm a bad cook, so I'm going to follow Jeff too.
Yeah. You can learn something. It'll be good.
Mm-hmm. But that is all the time we have for our show today. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you as a person. We love you. And please come back tomorrow for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow is Monday.
April 2nd.
April 2nd. It's not April Fool's Day, so we probably won't play as many jokes tomorrow. But we still will have some because we like to laugh. So, thanks for stopping out, everybody. You got anything else to tell anyone, Joe?
No, just that I love you. And I wish you the best. And hopefully some of this makes an impact for you. And hopefully we continue to, as in the coming days and weeks that we're here with you. So thanks for being here. And much love to all of you. And come back tonight for Don't Worry Wednesday. You won't be disappointed.
9 o'clock. 13 hours from now. 13 hours.
13.
Be here.
Yeah. It'll be great.
Bye, guys.
See you later.